start. All right, guys. Welcome to another draft day. This is actually the last head-to-head draft that we have in Fantasy Benchwarmers. And together with me is fantasy expert Erik Ong. Eric,
Hello.
yeah, this is the Champions League you were asking before we started recording. This Champions League, basically, these were the top two teams. I mean, all of the top two teams from our leagues last year, um, competing here. So very experienced then, and like I said, it's a diamond level league. I'm not sure if you're into the ratings, but nagulat lang rin ako. Everyone's really good in this league. How are you?
Yeah,
First
I'm
pick
good.
tayo. Is there any other choice?
No. Unless you wanna really get funky, but you're gonna give an advantage to the guy drafting second. So, let's play it straight up. So
Yeah.
there really is no choice. You're on the clock. Your first pick, and I guess that means
Let's not waste time. They
let's
might
not.
think.
Yeah. Do you still need to discuss your pick? I don't think so. Is
Yeah.
well, in
Let's-
succession, it looks like things are going um a lot, quickly, immediately after Embiid was taken and then Antetokounmpo, which is interesting. A lot of
Giannis usually goes second, right?
exactly. That's what I was about to comment. I've seen Giannis second in a lot of my drafts. Um, I'm currently in a slow 8-cat Roto league. Okay, I drafted second. I picked Embiid, but because it's Roto, so
Yeah.
I can sit him when he's not
Injured.
playing, but on a per game basis, he really is the second best guy.
Yeah. But here's my question. I've asked this to pretty much a lot of our guests and even some fantasy managers from the other leagues. Is there someone that's close to Jokic that could probably unseat him this year? Do you see anyone there with the potential to unseat him? Like I said, it's law of averages. Sometimes, we
Barring
don't
an
know.
injury, though, is this assuming he plays as normal and plays roughly an average number of games?
Yeah.
No, no one's close.
No one's close. No
No,
one's.
no.
Ah,
When I in as part of the draft guide, I did a positional tier article for Sports Ethos in our draft guide. Jokic was in a tier by himself, both in the center um, position column and overall.
yeah.
So it's like him, and after he's done, and that's the time we look at tiers. So
Yeah.
he's like a class S kind of thing. He's
Clear cut number one,
yeah,
unanimous number one. Though we've seen drafts, not in our leagues, but some managers are showing us screenshots we're in. Maybe fanboys of Luca picks Luca first.
yeah, I get that, but no, I don't think Luca will finish first.
Yeah.
Despite the chatter about him, you know, being an MVP candidate. I mean, he's really good, but the stat set issues, yeah, I'm sure
Fantasy
that
wise, the
yeah,
fantasy
I don't think
part.
he'll finish in the top three, unfortunately.
Tatum surprisingly goes six.
Surprisingly, in what sense? Is that early for you, or
Usually he goes at around the 8th, 9th, 7th. I
hey,
mean,
my guy, I am a Halliburton fanboy, and let's just put that on record. And seeing him fall this far is pretty impressive. As
is
far as
it
I'm
far? In our
for me,
last draft, he
okay.
we
My
picked
draft
them at 12.
in the first round is simple. There's Jokic, then I ignore everyone. I'll take Halliburton, then whoever else. I mean, at that point, at any position from second to 12, I'm pretty sure I'll get my guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a fan. I probably, drank too much of that Halliburton sauce, and I, I don't know. I just am maybe deluded, but I'm thinking 20 plus points, 10 assists, 2 steals, 1.5 threes.
That's actually very not very feasible.
At 50 something, maybe 48 to 50 field goal, 80 free throw. Now, if you say that's feasible, isn't that top five, top three fantasy caliber production?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So why should okay? If a quote, since we were talking about Luka Doncic fanboy, you know, picking Luka early, and it happens is as a expected thing in most drafts. Why can't a Halliburton fanboy do the same thing and have an actual edge? I'd probably be willing to bet good money that Halliburton on a per game basis will finish in 9 cat
Better.
better than Luca,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And Luca has always been, he's picked right there, usually in the top five, not because of the
Necessarily.
fantasy
Yeah, yeah.
aspect of the game, but more of really the just because they're fans. These guys are fans. I mean, even last year he was ranked really low, but still being picked top five.
Is it because he looks like a Hollywood? you know,
The looks,
Yeah, the
the
looks,
looks might
or he
have
has a
that
hot mom or whatever.
effect.
I don't know. Whatever the appeal is, I get it. He's fun to watch. Beyond, he's young, he's good looking, he plays great basketball, he's amazing. Um, and personality wise, he's actually a fun, humble guy.
Yeah,
And with a sense of humor. And uh what I won't forget is Luca and Zion were being interviewed after an event that both of them attended. And they were like comparing each other's games. Or what they were asking Luca, what is it that Zion has that you wish you had? And his answer was definitely not the hops because I have that too, which obviously is, and everybody, the room broke out in laughter because, he's not known for his athleticism, right?
yeah, yeah.
And that's why he got downgraded in the real NBA draft, in the draft boards, because of concerns of his lack of athleticism, which he's proven that even without elite athleticism, he can carry a team and upset a monster like the Phoenix Suns in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
And I guess right now it's maybe early on a top five or top six or even top 10 pick for Luca might not have been really warranted. But I think right now, because of the way he has played, is the way he has shown he can dominate games, I think somehow you're gonna take a pass. I mean, you're gonna allow that a bit. I mean,
Okay, in with head to head being the most common format, I get it. It's okay to pick Luca early because you can plan a punt, as they say, right?
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
say you can go small. I'm gonna go Luca. I'm gonna go small ball punting free throw. If you filter for that, he's actually a top three guy.
yeah,
Punting free throw and you're targeting small ball cats. So
yeah.
it's understandable that you will be building purposefully around.
Around him. Surprisingly, Lamelo drops out of the first round. Um, Here, I think the
Well,
injury,
not surprisingly because of the injury. I think that's on the minds of a lot of these guys because
but
he'll be missing the earlier part of the season.
yeah, but you think that injury should really cost him that first round,
Yeah,
or
maybe
because there are lots of
a
experts
spot
also
or two
say,
in my mind, but I don't think it should really dissuade anyone. Well, one thing that's been evident over the preseason is that the Hornets are so bad. They're really
yeah,
bad, and there's this concern about tanking, right? That they
yeah,
might
it's
pivot and tank, and he might get the SGA treatment.
yeah, yeah. A lot of teams might get that. I mean, might go for that tank season this year.
Yeah. So there's this one little strategy that I've formulated for the season, and picked I've bumped up what I call the anti-load management guys. That's why they're normally the third or fourth, options on their team, but they're young players. And they're the ones who odds are will not get rested during back-to-backs or during fantasy playoffs. Um, like for example, I think in 80% of my leagues, I have Tyrese Maxey
Mhm.
because
He's the
when the
third option there.
he's the third option, right?
Yeah.
And
Eric's here. Eric's here. I mean, commish Eric
hi,
is.
hello, Eric.
Yeah, hi, hi. Hello, guys.
Yeah.
Just go on. I'm gonna
Oh,
listen.
yeah. I was just sharing that I have a strategy of picking third option players who are young. I was just talking about Maxi because when the Sixers will rest, let's say James Harden, Joel Embiid, the odds are won't rest Maxi because he's like what 21, 22.
Yeah.
And then his production will pop during those moments. And sometimes explosive games during a big matchup can be a difference maker. And as we've seen from what he's done in the preseason, he's ready to take yet another step this coming season. So
He's been good. He's been
on
good
Max.
the whole preseason. I think just one bad game. I think a few games ago, but overall he's been really good.
I mean, despite me saying I'm a fanboy of Halliburton,
Do you get attached? Do you get attached to certain players?
all right. Not necessarily attached, but one of my okay, that was one strategy. I have another strategy. I basically have only a pool of 75 players from which I draft all my fantasy leagues this year.
Mm.
It's a simplification system. Excuse me. Where I just go, okay, we to describe it really quickly for your listeners and viewers, we've all heard about, value tiers, or as my buddy in Sports Ethos, Dan Besbris, calls it buckets, right? That within a certain range of value, you'll have players who can be interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
I've noticed a certain trend or pattern that within certain tiers of value, I tend to like certain guys. So I guess that's what you could call attachment. And there are certain guys within so and so tiers that I don't like or will not bother touching because they're on either I just don't like them.
Yeah.
Here's an example. I don't know why I keep on using him in my head when I'm trying to drill the point. Is between you, JJT, and commish Eric, how many of you, I know you also have a lot of leagues. In your leagues, how many shares of Dylan Brooks do you have?
None.
Yeah, I have none. I have none.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my point. At the spot where you see that it's obviously we're talking late round, you need threes. He is simply not the guy the three of us tend to look at. So I exclude him already. He's obviously not in my 75 preferred targets. So I've simplified it and exclude and trimmed off the Dylan Brooks. So
but is there a player there somewhere in the middle? Because Brooks would probably be the late round.
Okay, that's an extreme because there's a late round. Is there a middle round guy that I
actually, Eric, you said Paul George, right? You mentioned Paul George to me. That he's gonna do the draft list.
Okay, so that's early naman, right? So Paul George is an early round pick. He's somewhere at the turn of the first and second round of standard league drafts. It's a psychological bias because in honesty, I got burned by Paul George last season.
Me too.
Right. But I've deviated from my list once. Okay, to be fair, my 75 player list is not carved in stone.
Yeah, this is just a guide. It's a guide.
Yeah, yes. So majority of let's say I have 10 to 12 leagues, and each team has excuse me, 13 players.
Wait, who are we
Um,
picking or who are we pairing up with Jokic here?
My
Fantasy?
build for my Jokic team, I have only one, was Chris Paul and DeRozan, because you have assists, steals, and you support both his shooting percentages, and you cover
Mm,
points.
That's
you'll
a
go
good
with
point. Yeah, I was gonna share, like, I had Jokic last night and I had a problem with points because
That's why
I did
DeRozan is
go,
the answer to that. That's the
yeah,
key.
yeah. No, should have been the Rosen.
all
So
right.
Chris Paul, DeRozan, you will
Let's
win
go.
assists, points, field goal, free throw. You're decent in steals because of Paul, and
Yeah.
you have everything. Okay, you might want to punt threes, but you can still chase threes later because
Yeah,
of the
actually,
Mm.
threes are
universal.
easier to chase later on in the draft.
Yes. So that was my build. So I'm glad
Let's
you're
go with
entertaining
Eric's build.
it.
I'm sure the managers here will be surprised we're picking Chris Paul and DeRozan. But yeah,
Well,
But-
these are the quote unquote oldie guys because they're above, above
Yeah.
33. But on a per game basis, they just deliver out of this range in the mid 20s. Those two guys can flirt with top 10 value when they pop, right?
yeah. I mean, Chris Paul has always been that guy.
So as long as Paul does not sit too many games, you're golden. You've
Yeah.
you've strengthened what you okay. One of the principles that I've been operating on this season is what I call redundancy. So even if Paul sits, you still have Jokic doing, Jokic does everything,
Yeah,
but you want more assists, more steals, more field goal, right?
yeah. I think Jokic does everything, and that sometimes you get confused on which categories to focus
So-
on. I think that's the challenge with the Jokic build.
So when I went with these three guys, I decided at this point on the third round to punt blocks.
Yeah,
So the plan is we're gonna punt blocks, we're gonna chase rebounds and threes a bit later. But right, we have two solid scorers with our first three picks. DeRozan can flirt with 30 points. Jokic is gonna give you at least 26 to 28. Even with MPJ and Jamal coming back, he's still gonna score in that range. Chris Paul is your quote unquote below average scorer with 14 points, but
But
he gives you
the assist
quality.
Yeah,
And DeRozan is an underrated passer, especially with Lonzo out.
Mm-hmm.
The offense will
That's
flow
true.
through him, and he's gonna give you four assists per game easily.
yeah. Are you good there, Eric?
Yeah, sorry, I have an itchy throat, so I'll try to mute my mic and catch
It's
my
okay.
coughs.
It's okay. So
A lot of
Mobley gets
managers
picked.
are a lot of people are talking about the second round as hard to navigate. Do you have any? How did you go about it this year in the second round? Because so many risky players are there, right? Or
Okay.
unproven
Like I said,
players.
with my quote unquote simplified roadmap, I only have two, maybe 3, 4 names that I
Okay.
tend to get. They're DeJounte Murray, Anthony Edwards, Pascal Siakam, and depending on how in varying situations, of course, right? And
Yeah.
how I'm pairing guys with my first pick. And if it's late second, sometimes Darius Garland is an option, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if Garland was not taken before Paul, we could have gone Jokic, Garland, DeRozan,
Yeah.
for example. I wouldn't have minded that.
I was
but-
actually eyeing Garland there.
Of course,
in the-
so was I. But the moment I saw that Garland,
was
was
picked.
odds are gonna get taken. So okay, I'd like to get your takes on the Cade Cunningham hype because I'm not on board. I see that he is a good player. I'm there, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna finish second round value, guys. To be honest, not in 9 cat, 8 cat, maybe. But his turnovers will drag down his 9 cat per game value so much that he's not going to finish in the top 25. Agree?
Agree. I do have one Cunningham in the second round. I did it once in a slow draft, and kind of regretting it after.
I think you're
Never.
regretting it because the preseason games of Cade has been very
Yeah,
underwhelming.
but Eric is correct also. The turnovers kind of will kill his 9 cat value. And at that spot, like here, he was taken, I think, 25th. There are a lot of proven or better players, I think, that you can get at that point. So maybe he should be a third rounder this year. I don't know if Eric would agree with that. I think 30 to 35.
Okay, just look at the third round. I'd rather have. I mean, we took DeRozan relatively early compared to
Yeah,
a lot of
to
other
regular.
teams.
Yeah.
But he fits my build, so that's why we took him. But between me, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, between DeRozan and Cade, I'll take DeRozan.
Mm.
I mean, aren't you with DeRozan? Okay, I really, people mistakenly look at DeRozan as vanilla. They say no steals, no threes.
No threes.
He sucks.
Yeah.
But field goal, free throw, those get ignored too many times and too often that you don't realize that what DeRozan does is he affords you the luxury to draft not so great free throw shooters later on in the draft, but you still win free throw overall for your team. Look at the bigger picture. And it's still 1 point out of 9 every week that he will carry you. With our first 3 picks in JJT's team right now, our free throw is golden.
Yeah.
Our field goal is killer. Right?
Yeah.
Just keep preserving that with every pick we make from here on out.
Yeah, we've always said that the percentages are crucial in head-to-head because these are things that are harder to get.
Schedule proof. They're schedule proof.
Schedule proof.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if
I
you
agree, totally.
if your some of your guys didn't play or rested, at least you can win these 2 categories and even the turnovers. Obviously, if you're undermanned.
So based on the guys I like and who are my favorite, my quote unquote my guys, because of the way of how things tend to play out, majority of the builds of teams in head to head that I've come up with lately have been small ball teams that don't sacrifice field goal. They're small ball teams that compete in field goal because guys like Halliburton, DeJounte, DeRozan, all of these guys have high field goal for guards and wings. So I tend to compete in field goal. I like Desmond Bain, Tyrese Maxey. Those are my favorite players.
They're not a drag on the field goal, even if they can score.
Exactly.
I was interested with the DeJounte Murray pick because we also love DeJounte. Are you where are you picking him? Like 15, 16?
I'm willing to take him 12, 13.
Oh, okay, that's even higher. So no worries about the trade situation.
Because in a draft as it goes, the moment let's say I'm unfortunate and I'm late in a draft in a late position. The moment Halliburton is off the board, my next guy immediately after Halliburton in my personal ranking / preference is DeJounte.
DeJounte, yeah.
So he gives me some points, field goal, assists, and steals. Rebounds are bonus.
Rebounds, yeah.
But I like the elite. It's hard to get elite steals later on in the draft. I mean, well, fine,
Yeah.
unless he's a specialist, let's say like Thibault, but early, if you get your steals early, but I have, I think, 2 or 3 teams where I've lucked out, and my first 1-2 combo is Halliburton DeJounte, and
Yeah,
that's
I have a couple of those that combo also.
That's a popular combo, actually.
and that I feel that that's one of the strongest guard duos in fantasy this season. So hopefully congratulations
To
in
us.
advance are in order, because that's a strong core. Because
No, but you're not worried about the Jonte, with Trey, like the assists might fall, as they said.
no, not the assists, maybe the points. More of the
The
points.
points. Okay.
I think
DeJounte is not really a big scorer anyway, right? He scores 25 from time to time,
Okay.
but not a very
When he's-
consistent scorer.
when his scoring exploded last season and he became the go-to guy, that was because there was no one left. But
Yeah.
prior to DeRozan leaving the Spurs, DeJounte's profile was more of a defensive rebounding guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you describe him. And I think that's what the Hawks needed and wanted out of him when they traded all those draft picks. Their wing and perimeter defense was terrible before Murray. Now they got what they feel was the best available, asset on the market, for their needs. And that was the play.
Plus, DeJounte was supposed to be a first rounder anyway. It's just that the trade to the Hawks somehow made other people just question whether he's going to be a first rounder this year. But after that first preseason game, I think he slowly moved up. And with the lack of options as well in the late part of the first round, I think, you can just roll the dice with DeJounte.
Yeah. Okay.
And okay.
He wasn't a top 10 player because of his points only, really. The what brought his value up was his near 2 steals per game.
Yeah.
Mainly, right?
Yeah.
And the steals per game are on the defensive side of the ball and are not affected by the presence of Trae Young. So
Yeah,
there's a
true.
good chance that he will still give you high 1 point something steals, right? So, and rebounding, he's not competing with Trae for rebounds. So again, maybe Capella.
But he's gonna compete with Capella. Well, although he competed.
But
with,
he was competing with Portal also.
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
So same banana, right?
yeah.
So he can still give you a triple-double threat, but then points will go down. So that's that.
Yeah. The points would be the one affected.
And then
You're-
about the injury, injury risk for risky players like Kyrie, Kawhi, Zion. I know if I'm not mistaken, you're not that high on Zion. Am I mistaken? Or is
Yeah, I think right now, okay, I'll just be quick about it. I agree that there's upside.
Yeah.
I think he's a phenomenal player when he's healthy. So he's coming back this season, but why rush it? Why don't I let him play out a full healthy season, then target him next year, then be aggressive next year? If somebody, let's say, benefits from him being healthy this season, well, that's okay with me. Because at the end of the day, even if he does come back healthy, he still has stat set issues which will not change overnight. His lack of defense will
The free
still be there. The
throws.
free throw.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Zion hasn't been picked yet. Because in our
Yeah.
previous drafts, he's been going really high.
Yeah.
Third
So,
round. Value.
Injury risk, guys. I have 2 pet players in that pool. I mean, I also am willing to dip into that, pool also, right? I drafted, but I already traded him. But I drafted 1 share of MPJ. I like Michael Porter Jr. as a comeback guy.
Yeah.
And another favorite late is John Wall. He is what's interesting is that he actually was healthy last season. It's just that he was benched
Yeah.
by the Rockets, right?
He was preserved.
He was preserved. So in that sense, that's a good thing, man. He wasn't, doing rehab or whatever. He had so much more time to quote unquote heal without getting bumped around.
Yeah. And then
So
the
I really
rest,
think,
he's
okay,
rested, well
okay.
rested.
To be fair, I am not expecting 2010 John Wall from 2016 or whatever, right? But even on a stacked Clippers team, a team that's been wanting a go-to pass first point guard to push the tempo, that's John Wall you're describing. He's a passing point guard who can run, and the guy can still run. So if I get him really late, and I don't know. I think he has a shot of at least beating his ADP, considering he's like a flyer pick in a lot of drafts.
True. Actually, I think if I'm not, I have one league where he was not even drafted.
Yes,
So-
the
Michael
Invitational
Porter
League.
Jr. not drafted.
No, John Wall.
John Wall. I thought Michael Porter. Oh, Maxi got picked. I was eyeing Maxi for Eric.
Of course we were.
Now he got picked.
You should start queuing. Who do we like? McCollum is decent to help with that if you want to start chasing threes.
McCollum.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
we need a center? Oh no, we have a center.
JV is that's the problem. We're at the spot where it's hard because there's some risky guys or you're gonna have to reach a bit, right? So Collins is vanilla but okay. I think it's a far enough fall for Collins if you're so inclined.
But are we getting McCollum?
Yeah,
All
McCollum.
right, we're getting McCollum.
How
So
about
we can
Giddy?
start-
What do you think about Giddy?
Who?
Josh
Josh
Giddey.
I'm worried about the tank. So it's a bit early for me.
Yeah.
But he does fit the theme of
Yes.
the Jokic. So he'll give you rebound. He's like, a baby Jason Kidd from back in the day,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
So
he
we can
really
go
fits
Collins
the
or
Jokic.
Giddy, but Collins is more safe.
I think so, yes. Yesterday when I had
Collins.
Jokic, I didn't have the benefit of Collins because he was picked. So,
So,
what was
let's go
left was
Collins.
even J-Val was picked yesterday. So,
So
I
we
had
get
Nurkic or
Collins.
Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Collins is perfect for the build. But going back to the injury risk, guys, you talked about Zion. That's correct. Is that the same thing with Kawhi? I mean, you think Kawhi you should give Kawhi like a year to,
Because
get warmed up.
especially let's be clear that a lot of our conversations are when we talk, we're talking about head to head mainly, right?
Yeah,
head to head.
Okay. I'm expecting maybe 55 games from Kawhi between the back-to-backs and the load management and the actual so-and-so thing hurts because I didn't play last year stuff. 55
Yeah.
games is awful from your quote-unquote, early third round or late second round.
Yeah.
So pass.
Yeah. If he falls to the third or fourth, maybe you think again, right? I mean,
Yeah, if you're in a
Rough.
very risk-averse meta, maybe. But even then, okay, third or fourth, okay, you're falling into the zone where it's my guys. We're talking about Bane, Maxi.
So you'd rather have those, right?
Bane and Maxi over Kawhi this year? Yeah, okay. Let's say per game, obviously Kawhi will crush them, right? Crush either of those two pet players of mine. So my players or odds are gonna be playing 12 to 15 more games. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a championship if those games happen to be in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? So Kawhi might
So-
be.
so safe to say you will choose Bane over Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah. Okay. Brown
Because
can score.
that's our debate with JJT, Desmond Bane and Jaylen Brown.
I've had one brown share in my I think it was 2 years or a year ago or something like that. 2 years ago. I wasn't impressed, but he is better now than he was 2 years ago.
True. True.
Uh,
Yeah, agree.
and he is gonna be the top scorer, I think, in Boston, not Tatum. I think that the Brown will score a lot more. He'll be the
Okay.
go-to scorer because
So you
defenses
like, so who do you think ends up higher after the season?
Bane. Why? We're talking about 3 threes, 1.5 steals, 40 high 40s field goal, 18 points.
The free throw's gonna kill Jalen Brown. I think that's the one thing. He's not as good
And
free throw.
turnovers. Because
Turnovers.
point,
Turnovers.
1 point
And
something lang si
injuries.
Bane.
Injury.
Injuries. I owned Jalen last year, so I know how frustrating it is. And JJT just doesn't respect Bane's game.
No, because the
So
sample size, like I was telling Eric, I mean commish Eric, that the sample size is not as big as, I mean, I trust Jalen more than Bane. I'm not sure if Bane's gonna be as good
Okay,
as he was last season.
here. This is where I will pick Jalen over Bane. If I'm the type of guy who was, feeling funky and I drafted Luca in the first round, he
true.
fits the
Yeah.
Luca build perfectly.
All right.
Because
It's
I'm
more
not
of
good
a
at
fit
free throws
thing.
anyway. I'm halfway there to punting it. Jalen's free throws are bad. His turnovers are sometimes irritating. But then all of those negatives are the same negatives you see from Luca, and you'll be punting those negatives. So all the positives will just add on.
Yeah.
He will support the scoring, the field
You'll
goal,
just
threes.
dominate all the positives.
Yes. So he is redundancy towards the strengths of Luca. And that's where the one case I will choose him over Bane.
One
Agree?
case,
Bane.
JJT. One case.
One case.
Yeah, just one case.
Let's see. Um
And then
anyway,
I
yeah.
guess the next thing we can talk about here is the hype guys like Sengun. You think he's going too high? Right now he went 60 something here, I think. 62nd or 61st.
He
Is that still
went,
high for you?
yeah.
Yeah, that's too early as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I don't have there's Sengun went 62nd. I don't have any Sengun actually this year yet. I prefer Potal, who went after him.
Yeah, okay.
Although that
Shingun is in the similar range ADP wise as Portal.
yeah.
But Portal has low turnovers. They have both bad free, but Portal has an established solid shot blocker.
Yeah.
Shingun is, more of a high IQ offense guy, even though he can defend a bit. But that's still a developing part of his game.
Yeah.
If he somehow becomes a better defender, then yes, he will beat Portal. But odds are his free throw and his turnovers will drag down his value in 9-cap.
Yeah.
True. And we have this we had this battle between Sengun and Wendell Carter. I think we talked about it last night. So it's interesting to get your take also if you agree with us about Wendell Carter this year.
Better value though. Wendell Carter's being
Yeah,
put
I
at
mean
80s.
value wise also.
Wendell will beat Shingun.
Yeah.
Threes. The key to Wendell is his emerging 3-point shot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna forget this because it eliminated me in the 30 deep league in fantasy last year. Was in our playoffs. There was this game that he hit a career high threes. I think it was like 7 threes or some crap like
Yes.
that. And that knocked me out because kinapos yung threes ko. And for a center to hit 7 threes and his name is not Karl Anthony Towns, you have to pay attention.
Mm.
It's that's unlocked something that if he does transition into a more balanced stretch 5 and less traditional center than his old stat set was, oh my gosh, that guy's currently the only guy who has that is Christian Wood. who has close to 2 threes and is a double-double.
Yeah,
So,
but the free
Wendell
throws.
blocks a lot better
Yeah.
and is less prone to ankle sprains than Christian Wood.
So
Plus, he's better free throw shooter.
Well, there's that too. But erratic free throw ni Wendell. So, but assuming we were interested in Wendell, since we have DeRozan and Jokic to cover our free throw, we can absorb somebody like Wendell, for example.
Yeah, I mean, all our guys are good free throw shooters.
Yeah, so if you entertain a quote unquote low volume, bad shooter, like let's say I don't know, whoever it is, later on, you have that luxury.
But how much do you stay away from the tanking teams? Like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of tanking teams this year. We're talking about the
okay, it's been more
Suns, the Orlandos, the San Antonio.
some of them as of now, the issue for me, only because there's an established pattern, is with the Thunder and SGA.
Yeah.
For other teams, it's not as
Clear.
Yeah. Like let's say Orlando might tank, but are they gonna sit Banchero? Maybe not, because they want him to develop as a better player.
Yeah.
They're
probably the other teams will just sit their guys if they are starting to win.
Okay, here's a hypothetical question, and that's why it works. There's this concern that the Pacers might trade away Turner and Hield and then tank, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, the Pacers are gonna tank. Are they really gonna sit Tyrese Haliburton? No, you don't want that, because you want him to
Why?
be the next. Huh?
They can. I mean,
okay.
they might.
But the point
towards
is, you're sacrificing player development. He is the next Chris Paul.
That's true. I agree. And they don't have a history of that. They don't have a history of really tanking because, Indiana's not really a team that
And
has...
you ask yourself first, do they have their pick for 2023? If they
They do,
don't,
right?
do they? So that's one thing you look into. So if they have their pick, then maybe they'll tank, yeah, and make patalo. But I think the ones who will really do that are the Jazz, definitely.
Yeah.
The
The
Jazz
Thunder.
are high risk for me. They're now I've shied away from some Thunder and Jazz. I only have the only Thunder player I dabbled with is Giddy, because of he's
The upside. The upside is
yeah,
really
and he's
nice.
not as early as SGA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh
But with the Jazz though, is there any player there that they might maybe Olenek? I'm thinking or Conley, I guess.
They might play.
They might not
okay.
play.
Okay. To be fair, it's really hard for me to stay away from Markkanen. I really like
Yeah,
Markkanen.
Markkanen.
He's gonna blow up really, really good. But
Yes.
not only do the Jazz, are gonna tank, they have a bad sked in a lot of my league settings. So I don't have any Markkanen shares because of that. So I'd rather gamble on, let's say, a late round Vanderbilt or an even later Walker Kessler, as you know from our invitational draft.
Another one of your favorite, right?
No, that was my only Walker Kessler share.
Okay. I thought
he's not a favorite actually, because he was a hyped. Okay, unfortunately, a lot of my higher buy-in leagues tend to draft early because they're filled with fanatics who can't.
All right. You can't wait.
Can't wait.
Who can't wait. So based on draft scouting, everybody was into Kessler, thinking that he's gonna average 3 blocks per game, etc., etc. He's a bit too slow, and the problem with Kessler, he doesn't have great lateral movement, so he's best sticking in the paint, and he cannot follow faster players.
True. Yes.
The big man who can do that, but he's obviously in the dumpster in terms of depth chart, is Mark Williams. He's actually
The one in
fast on his
Charlotte.
feet.
Yeah.
The one in Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Duke guy.
You should be queuing soon.
Yeah, now like now.
We don't need to bias because he's like John Collins at this point. It's a bit redundant, right? Hey, Herb Jones. I will sell you Herb Jones. Because Chris Paul and Herb Jones, you win steals every week.
Yeah, this is exactly who I wanted yesterday because he fell around 119,
He
I think.
usually does. He usually
He
does.
It's a
fell,
bit
and I
early.
almost got him. He went
It's a bit early,
one pick
to be
before
honest.
me.
But 80s is fair. He can give
Yeah.
you top 55, top 60 value. So taking him at 84 is a no-brainer for me.
And then who's gonna be our other guy?
Okay.
We need
So we've solved steals, right? At 85, is my crush still available? Is Keegan Murray available?
Yeah.
yeah, he should be.
I
Okay.
picked him also at
wait.
this spot yesterday.
Yeah, there.
Okay, it seems like a reach, but I'm a fanboy. Okay, he fits again percentages, and he'll support the threes that we're starting with McCollum. He does not hurt our strengths, but adds to the threes we're looking for.
Yeah, I actually like Keegan. I mean,
So-
I was talking to Commish yesterday that I don't have a Keegan stock yet, and just couldn't find a good
And-
spot to get
And
him.
yesterday we picked Keegan and actually Al Horford.
Oh,
It was
Herb got picked.
Okay.
Well,
Now
so
we have to choose another one.
let's
So we have
check your
Keegan.
list. Do you mind Marcus Smart because he'll give you the steals and assists? He's like a poor man's Chris Paul.
Yeah.
He's redundant, but okay.
Commish Eric doesn't like him, but for the right build, I actually like.
No,
Marcus.
I picked Melton. I picked Melton later on. I think Melton can give the steals, so I picked him there.
Yeah, but Smart will give the assists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
can
it.
help there.
Smart will be better.
Yeah, so and we can afford. We have enough field goal to support.
How about some rebounding? Don't we need that?
You want Horford? Horford is also a fine choice if you want.
Horford, okay.
Because we don't have rebounding
Or
as much
PJ?
rebound.
How about PJ Washington? Do you like PJ this year?
Not as a rebounder, but yeah,
That's
he'll be
true.
a 1-1-1 guy.
Yeah.
So definitely Keegan muna. So let's get him
Yeah.
out of the.
You can try Smart. I'm not Smart is okay, especially with this
I
build.
think Smart is more stable because he's younger and he won't be sat the same way Horford will later on when
True.
Rob will returns.
All right, so let's try Smart. I'm just worried about the rebounding because we might not have enough for the rebounds. But maybe we can
You can get more rebounds later. We can get one of my favorites like Hartenstein is a guy I like, and we can cheat also with Hart. You like Hart?
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sneaky rebounder that people don't notice.
All right, so let's go Smart.
Yeah, if we weren't there. So okay, we're winning steals and assists for sure every week.
Assist,
I
yeah,
think
we're
so.
good.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Assist, steals.
Sayang si Herb, but okay, I
Free
guess
throws.
Smart will have to do. He also chips in some of the threes that we're trying to build on.
There will also be some steals, guys, later on, just in case.
Yes, guys like Dorian Finney-Smith who has 46
Oh,
field goal. And
one of my favorite.
my favorite also. So we're on the same page in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So we're good. We're good.
How often do you follow the college game? Like you seem to really know the rookies very well.
Okay, what I did to improve on obviously to be honest, my knowledge isn't really great. But I joined a dynasty league. I'm in 2 right now. Which forces me to study rookies. I don't
Okay.
follow I follow it close to the draft, but I don't follow it during the NCAA. season a lot. So I'll know the hype guys. Then I do
Hmm.
deep digging closer to the rookie draft.
So you watch clips or games
Yes,
of
yes.
these
Okay.
players?
As part of being a fantasy expert, if you're not watching YouTube clips of how players play, you're
Yeah,
not really doing. I mean, you can't just look at the numbers, right?
Yeah.
There,
true, true.
that's how I started, to be fair. But as I got more experienced, it helps me assess players better.
Yeah,
And
you
that's why
you
I'm such
see
a fan of
you see
Maxi.
how they play,
If
how
you
they move.
watch how Maxi plays, it's so clean. He does everything so right. And I'm bold enough to say, as far as I'm concerned, he's an SG shooting guard version of Tim Duncan. The
Wow.
fundamentals of the way he does what a shooting guard is supposed to do is just fine. He's undersized and everything for a shooting guard, but his the way he attacks the basket, the way he can shoot, um, fine. He's a bit lacking on the defense, but the guy's offensive side fundamentals are very clean, and he's very hard to guard.
Yes, that's true. I really like Maxi. Yeah, I also like his game, and I like his role. Just like you, because I think Harden is gonna be deferring some of the scoring also, some part of the season to
Yeah,
him.
there will be games that Maxi will be the second leading scorer in the
Yes.
game after Embiid.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Harden will pass the ball more. Um, and at the moment that Maxi adjusted seamlessly to playing off ball, I knew that this guy is great. Um, and not only that, I follow storylines. Like over the off season, he took his first vacation in his entire life. Did you know that?
Yes, I read that.
That
Yeah.
there's a storyline, and he actually called his coach on the phone. Doc, what do you do on a vacation? Because he doesn't know what to do. Because that's how much of a, it's just to show how much of a hard worker he is.
Yeah.
He just keeps on. So all those little nuances that don't necessarily make it onto, um, blurbs and stuff that I pay attention to, and that helps me assess players. So if he's working that hard, despite his breakout last year, what that tells me is there's still more that he can push this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think 75% of my leagues, I have Maxi shares.
So you follow storylines. You also follow contracts. Do you does it matter to you? Like they're
Okay,
you know
before, it
contract
was a
year
big thing. The contract year factor,
narrative.
right?
Yeah.
It's an impact to a certain level only as far as I'm concerned. But I guess this year, it actually got me to think twice and consider Kyrie Irving, because out of everyone,
Mm,
because he's on a certain situation where he has no choice but to really impress, because he's
true.
technically worth a max, but he has to prove that he'll play well enough and consistent enough and in many games enough to be worth max.
So you think Kyrie is worth that second round pick?
No, because he is, an egghead, and I don't want that risk. I would rather have DeJounte over Kyrie. End of discussion, as far as I'm concerned.
So
I
where
agree.
do you think should Kyrie go? I mean,
Okay, if you're okay with the risk of Kyrie, mid second.
yeah, okay. So still within that second round.
Yeah, because he won't fall farther than that.
Well, initially, early drafts he did, but
But
now
the thing is,
I guess
it's clear that he's gonna play. With the moment that
yeah,
the KD drama got sorted and they're gonna play together,
it
it
cleared
bumped his
things up.
ADP. Yeah.
Yeah, it cleared things up for him.
So we're
So
looking for 3 and D guys since we're punting blocks. So um we're trying to mix threes, maybe rebounds. Weirdly enough, later we can time it, but Kevin Love fits what you need because he'll give you rebounds and threes in one package.
JT's favorite, Kevin Love.
So you have
That's one of
permission.
my favorite late round picks.
So be sure you time it that he won't get sniped, because in my build I also have Kevin Love as my rebounding and threes support. I didn't have the luxury of McCollum, but to be fair, I had Maxi. So my core was my four best players was Jokic, Paul, DeRozan, Maxi. That's a scary core, right? Then
Yeah,
I
that's
got
DeRozan,
solid.
my
Max.
guys
Solid.
like Keegan. Again, rebounds and threes. Another crush. Well, I guess what's your tolerance for rookie risk and your rookie appetite? Tari Eason,
So where
FYI.
should Tari Eason go?
The guy
We
you
also like
sniped
Tari Eason, but
from me.
Okay, do you know what he averaged in the preseason so far?
20, right? 20 and something.
10 and 1.7 steals.
Yes.
Oh, isn't
I
that so yummy?
I
But-
love Tari Eason.
Okay,
I hate
here. Let's listen to the counter argument. They go,
Yeah.
he's not gonna start. Eric Gordon will start.
yeah,
What in terms of following storyline, FYI, he was a sixth man in college.
Mhm.
And in an interview, he is so used to playing sixth man that he's almost a professional sixth man. His nice stats last season in his last year in college were so good because he's the type of guy who does not need time to heat up, making him the perfect sixth man. So even if he does come off the bench, he will provide starter caliber numbers for Houston. So
Yeah, I think what people are worried about is like, could he be on the third team? Because Jason Tate supposedly was with the second team. Do you think that Houston will do that?
yes, Tate will be a risk. Tate is, to be fair, he worked his butt off and earned his stripes, paid his dues, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But talent, skill, and complete package wise, Eason kicks his ass. No offense.
yeah. I mean, yes,
he is the better player. Oh, you know, um,
he is. He is. It's just that I think everyone's just concerned about, is he really gonna play? We don't want to pick him too high because he might not play. We were talking about him being he could end up being the Sengun of this year, wherein
okay,
he's gonna be
if you're
so hype
Houston,
and then not really play much.
Eason kasi is a superior defender, and he's a better two-way player. Let's put it there. And Houston, if I was Houston, I'd want to develop him at the same rate that I'm developing Jabari.
Yeah.
I want them to grow together as a killer duo. If all things sorted itself out, they're like their baby version of Paul George, Kawhi. Two-way guys that can really give problems on both ends of the court for the opponent.
Yeah.
So I guess our Melton for Eason trade is not on the table anymore in the invitation.
Okay, listener.
After hearing Eric Ong drool over Eason, I don't think he's gonna settle for Melton.
Well, he mentioned it during our draft that
Okay,
we should
here.
talk about it.
Okay, listeners. I'm a DeAnthony Melton fanboy in fantasy. I love his 3-and-D game ever since 3 years ago. As early as 3 years ago, I'm a Melton fan. I like his situation in Philly. Commish Eric sniped him when I was ahead. It frustrated me, but I sniped Eason from his queue. So
Yes.
in
I
the
was
chat
shocked.
during the slow draft, I go, "Hey, give me Melton. I'll give you your Eason." But that was before more preseason games fell.
Oh man.
So it
So
looks like
you're-
I got the better guy
So-
now.
So Kumish rejected it.
No,
No,
it was
it-
never offered officially because
Yes.
it was still locked and it was a slow draft, right?
Yeah.
So
it was just
we haven't
discussion.
discussed it yet.
Yeah, so we couldn't actually consummate the deal.
So now it's off the table.
I don't know. I still really like. Okay, in 30 deep, where I'm currently in a slow draft, I picked Eason ahead of Melton. So
Eason ahead of Melton. Yeah. But
I-
that's after that's already after the preseason games, right?
yes, but then I'm really more and more convinced that Eason is okay. Remember that rookie year of PJ Washington? He was
Mm-hmm.
not so known during the NBA draft, but then he played well in, I think, camp, summer league, and then preseason. Then he became like a popular flyer. Then he exceeded expectations early, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But then he tapered off because his free throw suffered later, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're gonna see a similar situation with Eason. He's been a late round flyer. He will exceed ADP, but then I don't think his free throw will taper off the way it did for Washington. So it's gonna be a similar trajectory, except that he will maintain at worst plateau at some point.
So I'll ask again. It's a deal of the day.
Yeah, it is, bro. Okay, I'm I have a lot of Milton shares, so I'm okay.
Oh man, I was
Where'd you
really
get
shocked
him?
that
Where'd
you
you
picked
get
him
him?
that
You
early.
said what round?
I think that was ninth or tenth. Ninth round, I think.
I took Eason in the early 120s,
Yeah. I think it was the ninth round. That was the ninth round.
which is actually quite early relative to
Exactly. That's
a
why I
lot
was
of
shocked.
ADP. It's just that I'm a fan of his game. Oh, too bad Portis was taken. I like Portis. He fits our build. He would have been a perfect rebounding big.
Let's
And
cue some guys here.
yeah, let's cue some guys.
Josh Hart is still here.
Josh Hart,
How
Melton,
about Isaiah Stewart? He's gonna take threes, according to Dwayne
Yuck.
Casey.
Yeah. Okay, here's an interesting guy that we might consider Kuzma. Even though his free throw is quote unquote
Yeah.
bad, okay, he'll give you the rebounds and the threes that we want. And I feel that because we have DeRozan early, kakayanin pa yung free throw ni Kuzma
Mm-hmm.
if you want. It's just that he opened that up as an opportunity now. So he's an option, but I don't mind if you decide to go Melton or Hart. Um, any of those three guys are probably your short list.
Yeah, and
But I'll
probably
leave that up to you. I'm okay with any two of those three.
they're not
Because
gonna
think
be
about it,
picked.
Kuzma gives you more points.
Yeah.
His field goal is decent. He gives you a lot of threes. He's a great passing big man. At power forward, I think he will end up, racking up more assists than Bankero, who is supposedly a great playmaker. He was a Kuzma, broke out when the Wizards fell apart due to injuries, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's really some of that. Well, okay, when a player breaks out because of a situation, you have to balance. You have to think about: is it cause of just the situation, or did he really grow also? I think Kuzma grew. Okay, he took the opportunity to grow and he grew. So yes, there was a catalyst, but I really think that there is legitimate long-term improvement that will carry over from last year.
Let's cue. I think I like Kuzma
More than Hart.
more than Hart.
Okay.
Although, yeah, let's see. And then we go
Hearts
Melton.
fits the bill perfect at 49 field goal, rebounds, threes.
Yeah, the
So-
rebounds are nice.
So it's up to you. Our assists are golden, so we don't need the assists of Kuzma as much. Okay, folks, those listening / watching, why are we considering DeAnthony Melton considering we already have Chris Paul and Marcus Smart? It's about redundancy. In games where Chris Paul sits, we still win assists, steals, right?
Yeah. So we go
If Marcus
Melton.
Smart sits, we will still win. That's the whole point. You in the modern fantasy NBA, because there are so many issues with
Especially.
COVID, load management, injuries. You have to make sure you win your targeted, categories.
Kuzma, are we going Kuzma?
But I'm fine
Let's
with
go
either
Kuzma.
one. You can go Kuzma if you want.
Let's go
So
Kuzma.
I think you're happy with the rebounding by now. We're pretty competitive.
Yeah.
So we have Kuzma, Melton is a decent rebounder for a guard, by the way. Collins, of course, Jokic will rebound in the double digits. You know, that's decent. But I think
I have
Collins will take a hit in boards, by the way. So we needed to offset that because of DeJounte. He will,
So
you know,
let's target more rebounding later on.
we
Kevin
have
Love.
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, yeah.
You have your Kevin Love later. So don't worry.
Let's just hope no one gets him. Because this is
You have
probably the
other options.
range.
Let's say you can have Hartenstein or we have Aldama
Yeah.
who fits the
Santi.
build. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Aldama has eaten into Brandon Clark's
Upside. Yeah.
upside. Yes. Is he still here? I think Brandon Clark. Yesterday
Brandon
he
Clark is
fell
still
all the
here.
Brandon
still
Clark
available.
is still here.
Yeah, there. Last night he fell all the way to 140, I think, right? 130 to 140. So
Yeah, Aldama. Okay. I broke it down why Aldama is such a threat. He shoots threes and Clark doesn't. His ability to space the floor gives him the edge, and that's why they start him over Clark.
because he can do what Jaren Jackson does for them, I
Yeah,
guess.
no,
Like
not in the
mimic
same
it.
degree, but fills
Yeah.
that void a bit better than Clark. Because Clark
Yeah.
is more traditional big man in the sense that he operates really well in the paint. That's why he has such a ridiculous field goal, because a lot of his shots are close to the basket. Aldama became a surprise because he came from a different team. He's a newcomer, and it was a surprise that they decided to start him. But
Yeah.
he's a decent stretch four apparently. So he fits our build.
But I'm guessing he might be picked before we get a chance. So
Yeah. So
let's see.
again, have multiple options ready. So, but that's why we got Kuzma. So your
Kuzma
rebound.
helps us in our scoring a bit and can rebound. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
Mathurin goes very early here.
Yeah.
Ninth round early.
He's a potential bust given the hype. Why? So far he's shown great scoring, but
Yeah.
the steals are not there. The
Just
threes are not
scoring.
enough.
Yes, one-dimensional.
Yeah. Okay. The field goal and free throw are pretty decent, but outside those three categories, it's a bit lacking for me. Huh?
That's why we did say that Mathurin is better as a last rounder,
Yeah.
flyer because of the scoring dependent stat set. He really hasn't shown anything else, even in the preseason, right? He didn't show ability to steal, to get other things, do other things.
Yeah. So we should cue Eason already.
Oh yeah. We should.
He wanted rebounds, right? The guy's a 2010 so far.
And
As they said, he's the better Dennis Rodman.
Well, that's what they said about Sohan, right?
Well, yeah, but I think Sohan will be good. Maybe not right away, but especially at the last February, March, April. I think he's gonna be fantasy relevant.
He will
Those
become
times.
a pickup.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like so.
I see that.
Like JJT is not big on rookies, not as much.
not as
But
much.
JJT, you cannot help but fall in love with Keegan of what you've seen in summer league.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like I said, I like Keegan. That's why I'm looking at. I don't know. I just have this gut feel that Keegan might end up higher in ranks compared to Jabari.
Okay. It's okay. It's a trade-off. So it's an interesting comparison and head-to-head thing that you put up there. People actually describe Jabari as a lighter, smaller, shorter version of Jaren Jackson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's a defender who
Defender,
can
yeah.
Shoot threes, yeah.
with bad field goal. So
Yeah.
that's the mold that you're comparing Keegan. But to me, Keegan is looking like a nicer Kevin Durant as far as I'm freaking concerned. He just, I know it's overkill and it's
No,
obvious.
no, I think he's
Actually, I compared him to Tobias. So to Kevin Durant.
Tobias doesn't shoot that many threes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but the game, I mean, the
Iba yung
smoothness of the
shooting
game.
stroke ni Keegan. Look at okay. The reason why Keegan is also so good, he's one of the older rookies. He came in
Yes.
Yeah.
at 22 compared to the 18 and 19-year-olds. 22 is considered old as far as a rookie is concerned. But that makes him just more NBA ready.
Yeah.
He's more mature. He's already so he's a sophomore. His rookie season in college was nye. But he made a giant jump in his sophomore year. And that's the stat set everyone was looking at. But the point is, he already has a forward moving momentum coming into the NBA. So he'll still build on that. He already started his breakout. Gets?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is
So
he
he can
is he a senior?
no.
No,
Sophomore siya
sophomore.
when he was
Sophomore.
Sophomore. Alright.
he but there he's really good. So I think that anytime you get a player who can shoot 2 threes per game and still carry 50 field goal, he's like the MPJ we wanted last year.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just feel like he's gonna be more consistent.
Maybe I mean knock on wood, barring injuries or whatever. Yeah, he's solid. That's why I'm excited.
TJ McConnell gets drafted.
This draft is we saw
Bit weird.
Kyrie LeVert
Okay.
get drafted.
To be fair, I like TJ, but I normally would take him a lot later. He's normally my last round guy. And I think he's very underrated, except for whoever it is that took him right now.
10th round. That's
That's way too early.
too early. Well, if there's any injury, that would pay off. But it's really early. How about the sophomores? Like you like Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah, I do. No
How about-
offense to Kat, but he's gonna be the best player on.
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I
not
was
real
telling
life best
Jeremy
player.
also.
Let me qualify that. He'll be the real life best player in the Wolves.
In Minnesota. But our kabayan, how about Jalen Green? Well, what do you think?
I think he'll do well, but I'd like to see more on defense and passing. He is working on it. So if we see that, he'll be worth the hype. But he has to show it. Because what he showed towards the stretch run was his scoring. No question there. I'm on board with that. But I want to see a more diverse stat set before I'm willing to consider him as a top 75 lock. Because what he did show is that he's a slow starter.
Yes.
It's unfair because it's a one sample size and it was literally his
Rookie year.
actual start, right?
Yeah.
So the thinking is he'll build on what he already did towards the end of last year, but we will see, because you also have to think about that because it was towards the end, the level of competition was weaker in the sense that they were sitting a lot of stars by then. So the defense was, a bit more tamad, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But to his credit,
But it's like going up
The
against
30
some of
game
the
streak
Team B.
is unheard of. I think nobody's done that in their rookie season, maybe except for Jordan. I think only he and Jordan were able to carry a streak like that in a rookie season. So he is special. There, I'll put that on the record. He is special. But from a fantasy standpoint, I want to see. I'll be thrilled with 1.3 steals. There, that's all I'm asking. Fair enough, diba? Then
Fair
he
enough.
fair enough.
I hope he gets there.
Yeah, I hope he gets there too.
Yeah, especially with KPJ beside him. KPJ is also one of the favorite of a lot of people this year. Although, for me,
Not Eric's
It's a-
favorite.
well, the assists are great because at the 100, 100, 105, 106 where he's going, the assists are good for KPJ.
So Mo Bamba, Santi Aldama got picked already, and Hartenstein.
Aldama got picked ahead of Bamba.
Yes.
That is a travesty. I think Bamba is getting too much disrespect, actually. All it takes is for Carter to sprain an ankle, and Bamba becomes a top 50 guy. Think about it.
Yeah.
He's established the capacity to be a top 50 guy because he has good free throw and can shoot 1.5 threes.
And it's weird because last season he was really good. It's what's
because
just
he
weird is
started.
just he dropped way down the
Well, because
ramp.
of the Banquero factor, right? We all understand the cause of that. But even if he just plays 20 minutes, he will be able to be top 100 value.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
plus the blocks are elite as well,
Yeah. He's a great shot blocker.
and a 3-point shooter, like you said. I mean, very rare.
I
do you
wouldn't
see
call
that.
him a 3-point, but he
But he can make
He
threes. I
can,
mean,
he can,
it's
yeah.
a different type of you can plug him in a small ball team, and that should be okay.
yes.
Because not all centers are built like that.
Oh, Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
Bye.
How about Jaden? How about Jaden? What do you think of Jaden, Eric?
Who? Ivy or McDaniels?
McDaniels.
I like him, but I think that a lot of the defense that he'll be able to bring will not necessarily pop on the stat sheet every night. He
Fair
is
enough.
a 1-1-1 threat, yes, but I think he'll end up more like a 0.8, 0.1, 0.7, 0.9 kind of guy. You know what I mean? He'll be
Yes.
he won't be able to deliver the 1-1-1 every night. But he is in that mold.
That's true.
The quote unquote Rasheed Wallace, if you're been playing this game long enough, the Rasheed Wallace template of 1-1-1. He was the godfather of 1-1-1 before it was a thing.
I think the listeners do not know.
Remember?
Not remember
No
Rashid.
naman.
Sorry, you can look up his stats, guys.
So are we going with Eason here?
Oh, do you have any complaints?
No.
I think Ethan's perfect.
Who? Yeah.
140.
Technically,
I mean,
this is
that's
just
great.
the 11th round. Who's the other guy that we need some rebounding? Are we going with Kevin?
Or
Love?
pa? Eason is gonna help your boards already.
Is he going to be enough?
Well, depends on who your other guy is.
Wait. Who should we get there? Wait.
Thought you're gonna go for
You have
Love.
an IL slot.
We have an
There
IL.
is an IS.
You can invest in Time Lord if you want.
Yes. At
But we're
141.
punting blocks. Sorry, no. We're punting
Oh yeah,
blocks.
yeah.
So, Rocco can give you steals and threes, but no boards. It's really
Power.
hard. You notice in this Norm fits, so Norm is a good choice. He'll pop every time Kawhi sits, which will be often.
Like today.
Like today, you saw
Today he
what Norm did.
started.
He went
He
bonkers.
scored 34, right?
Yeah,
34
so
points
every
today.
time that Kawhi sits, Norm will do that.
Yeah.
Well, not that, but he'll
Not
play well.
that good.
If you don't
I
like
think it was
Norm,
11 or
if you want
15.
some youth, Duarte is kind of nice. I think that he's.
I don't like Duarte actually.
Huh?
I don't like Duarte.
You don't like Duarte.
No.
Okay.
Let's just go with Norm. I like Norm.
Okay, we'll go with Norm.
I like Norm.
The Clippers have a bad skid, but he'll do. He works. He has nice.
I went
feet
with Duarte yesterday. For the record, I went with Duarte. Jeremy didn't like it also. I said I like Duarte.
Duarte went immediately after the Norm
I
pick.
like Duarte.
So it was either Duarte or Norm for me. But Norm is okay. How do you like our quote unquote collaborative draft so far?
It's
JJ?
good.
Good.
It's good.
It's one of the better teams of JJT for sure.
Kasi may Erik Ong influence.
Yes.
The build, the strategy, everything fits.
Yeah, then we get to learn as well. Different strategies, right?
Balato na lang ng cheeseburger pag nanalo tayo.
Sure.
Cheeseburger yan.
And
But
you
yeah,
got some of and the good thing here is like some of the players we wanted didn't fall to us, but there were, you know, the ability
There
to
were
change.
replacements, yeah.
Yes, get the replacements. I think that's very important for the watchers or listeners to, you know, sometimes they're too focused on this player, and when that player gets sniped, they don't know what to do or who to replace them with. So it's important to see the stat set. Like going back to Bamba, I'm just interested. You think he's gonna get, if Wendell Carter Jr. is healthy? Do you think he's gonna get 15 minutes or 20?
15 to 20 will be his range. He'll play exclusively the backup of Wendell, but I don't think Wendell can play 35 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
They want to stagger the two guys because I really think that Bamba is the better pure shot blocker. It's just that Wendell is an adequate overall big man defender. Okay, so
Mhm.
okay, Bamba will give you something like 1.3 to 1.5 blocks minimum and 1-3 and maybe 6 boards. Good field goal, good free throw, low turnovers. No assists. I mean, quote unquote, no assists. But he is a late round booster for those categories that you're one. But again, okay, think what keeps me, you know, holding a candle for Bamba is he's a pretty good free throw shooter for a big.
yeah,
And he fits my small ball teams because
yeah.
he doesn't hurt free throw and he gives me threes.
I have a question though. Do you prefer him over Brook Lopez though?
Yes, Brook Lopez should not be drafted by any smart player.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is
Brook,
that?
Brook
His
Lopez
impact.
these days,
Okay, hear me
he
out.
doesn't block
Okay, that was a
anymore.
bit mean. Sorry, but
Okay.
here is why. This is why. He's already on the fade. He's gonna see the Paul Millsap drop. You remember that season that Paul Millsap just
Okay.
dropped? That's gonna happen
Yes,
for
yes, yes.
Brolo this year. As a regular blurber, and I blurb last season when he finally came back and he was playing at a steady rate. I was tracking a streak where he did not shoot a single three, and it reached something like 6 to 7 games.
Okay.
That was yuck. Okay, people draft him for his threes and blocks, like the Bamba
Threes and blocks,
comparison,
yes.
right? He went on a 6 to 7 game streak of no threes. And
And he doesn't block anymore.
okay, but he still he changes shots.
Yeah.
Then that's sometimes all you need. Because Portis does not do that. He doesn't threaten people to force them to change their shots. And Brook Lopez has the verticality of length to do that. So I think Brook Lopez is going to fall off a cliff, and he is currently being overdrafted. People are thinking he's healthy now. He's going to be old Brook Lopez. But no, he's old already, right?
Sometimes he goes
Okay,
higher than
he is
Portis.
doing
There's some
for
leagues.
the Bucks what PJ Tucker is bringing to the Sixers. He provides a defensive catalyst, but it will not pop on paper.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
So I am not on board with Brook Lopez. So yes, my answer to your question is Bamba over Lopez easily. I mean,
And
I was
Olinik is
shocked
in the
by the yeah.
so Olinik is between them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, the only issue I have with Olinik is the Jazz's schedule and the tanking.
Okay.
But I think the stat set will be good. It won't be Houston Olinik. Let me say that right away, folks. Do not expect Houston Olinik, but it will be much better than Detroit Olinik. I'll give you that.
Yes, he's probably gonna be timeshare with Walker Kessler. At least
because
for
they want
start.
to develop Kessler, but they're two very different guys.
Yeah.
Because Kessler is a pure shot blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Olinik naman is a playmaking, big who is actually a pretty smart IQ wise. All right. Oh, Kevin Huerter. I have a crush. Hey,
yeah,
trust
Kevin
me.
Huerter.
You will like Kevin
I actually
Huerter.
like Kevin Huerter after seeing some of his games.
We have two
lately.
Kevins on our queue. Okay, I've he is an underrated defender, an underrated passer. All people know is okay. He comes in as a sixth man with threes back in the Hawks days, but he's the starting shooting guard now with only Malik Monk contesting him for minutes. He is a
Yeah.
better defender than Monk because Monk does not know how to play defense, but also provides the threes. Well, not as good a 3-point shooter as Monk, but he's a good. He can give you actually every now and then a 1-1-1 game. You'll be surprised. Herter is really an underrated defender. It's just
There.
that he's not
Herter
athletic.
got picked.
See, well, some guy's smart there. Yeah, nice. Whoever you are,
Like they're
team,
listening to us.
congratulations.
They will.
I
They
really
will.
have high hopes. I think that he will, like he went 160. I think Herter can be inside 150. Between 120 to 150 range.
Yeah. I mean, 120 is possible.
Yeah,
So,
right? Because
I just think it's possible.
look, who is this floor spacer for the Kings in the starting unit? Ideally, Keegan and Kevin only. Because Fox can't shoot threes, and Harrison Barnes is not consistent with his. Right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. There. So I like Kevin a lot.
John Wall gets picked 161.
I think that, okay.
that's good.
My quote unquote cheering for John Wall is also partly because I'm anti Reggie Jackson. I loathe Reggie Jackson's game. I tried him once, he burned me, and never again, never forget, kind of thing. He's just one of those guys. He's a Dylan Brooks as far as I'm concerned. If there's a range where I'd consider Reggie Jackson, I'd rather have, I don't know, Jose Alvarado instead of Reggie Jackson.
Yes, I agree with that.
Right?
At least you
Think
get
about
steals.
this. Okay, Kevin Love, last pick. He
Hopefully.
might get. Wait, Jalen Williams.
Actually, Nikola Jovic and Shadon Sharp was picked by TBA. I was gonna say that his last 4 picks. I don't know who the other players. He went
Wiseman.
Wiseman, McConnell, Sharp, and Jovic.
Oh, that's
And I mean,
those guys will hit the waiver wire.
yes, I think so. That was what I was gonna say a while ago.
He got caught up in the hype.
Oh, I love your team. I love your team. It's
Yes,
a
I
really
think this is a
strong
winning
build
team.
because it's very solid. Even if 1 or 2 guys miss a game here and there during the week, you're strong in what you're competing in because of the redundancy factor. Our threes are not as good as I would hope. Because in my other build, I have Kevin Love, Boyan of Detroit.
Si Boyan's still available, I think.
But of course, we prefer Love over Boyan because
Yeah,
Love
because
will
of
give
the
points.
rebound. Yeah.
So,
There's your guy, Reggie Jackson.
no, he's not my guy.
He
Nakakasarap
got
pa.
picked.
Yeah.
He got picked. And this is one of the rare times that he got picked in all of pretty much a lot of our draft.
No, sorry. He's trash as far. I would rather draft Trey Mann over Reggie Jackson.
3-man, yeah. Which usually he's not yet being drafted anyway.
You like Jalen Duren, Eric? What do you think of Duren?
My fast answer is not this year. He will
Not
be
yet.
streaming material this year, but or if at best, second half guy.
You see, Brandon Clark got picked in the last round.
Yeah, he's falling because of the Aldama factor.
But should he be
you got your
falling?
love.
Yeah, but
Woohoo!
should he be falling that far?
No, I don't think he should because he is. Did you know that he was in the running for sixth man of the year? He was in the
Was he?
Last year,
voting.
yes.
So, Kevin Love is not. He is.
Oh, Kevin Love. You're talking about Kevin Love.
Yeah, I'm talking about Kevin Love.
Yeah, he was.
He was
yeah.
in the running first. He was in the conversation because of what he did for Cleveland off the bench. So we have field goal, free throw, points, assists, so and so threes. We'll lose that some against small ball builds, but we have rebounds, and depending on the matchup, turnovers.
Yeah. The steals is solid too with
Yeah,
Smart,
Chris
Milton.
Paul, Smart. Jokic is the best stealing center in the game.
Melton,
Melton.
Eason,
Oh, we win steals.
Powell.
Let's
I
look
mean,
at the feel good stand. Oh, see, easy.
We didn't even look at that throughout the night. And we
Yeah,
crushed
no.
the nearest guy. We're 88. The next guy is 78. Okay.
Yeah,
easy
that's
win for
So
JJT.
cheeseburger, JJT.
easy
Thank
win
you
for
in advance. Cheeseburger.
we libre nat si
Pero
Eric
We
from
should
Ong.
have
In and
done
Out,
this.
ha? From
We
In
should
and
have done
Out.
this last
From,
night. I also had the first pick
ah,
in our
You've had
recording.
Leon, ganito build natin, no?
Oo, sayang.
I like it.
Sayang.
Well, this is an example of a style of team that I've been building throughout my drafts this year. I'm glad I was able to share my ideas, my players, my strategy with building around, because a lot of people for some reason are unsure of how to build around Jokic for some
It's
weird
not
reason.
easy. If
It
you've
is.
got,
Look, we
I
did
mean,
it.
yeah, I know, but because but I think for some, like I said, it gets a little confusing because
But okay,
Jokic
you
does
know
so
why?
much.
You know why? Because they don't have the guts to do Chris Paul DeRozan in 2 and
That's
3.
it. That's it. That's one thing,
That
right?
was the
To
key.
reach.
It felt like a reach, right? Even
Yeah.
you felt it. Compared to
A bit. Not the DeRozan. Maybe the Chris Paul one was a little. But at that
But
point, I was thinking it
it's
was not too much of a reach anymore because it was just a
per game,
few
he'll give you top
spots.
20, right?
Just a few spots ahead, right, of
Oh,
where
but
he usually is.
when they fuse together with what Jokic already brings, that except for the boards which we chased later and the threes which all three are lacking, which we kind of chased. I mean, McCollum is
Yeah. I mean, the trees, the McCollum pick help us with the trees.
and Smart gives threes which
Yeah,
assuming we landed the Herb who I have a crush on. Herb doesn't shoot as many threes as Smart does.
yeah. And also, what's good about the Smart pick is that he helps not just in the threes and the steals, but also the assists.
Yeah.
Solidifies the assists. So
So your
overall, I
assists
think
are McCollum, Jokic, DeRozan, Paul. Paul is gonna lead the league in assists if it isn't. It's only between him, Halliburton, and Harden, as far as I'm concerned. Those three guys will contest. But I think it's gonna be between Halliburton and Paul actually. But we'll see. For rebounding, I think you're a top team in boards because of Kuzma, Eason, Jokic.
yeah.
Collins
Plus,
fine will take a hit, but then Murray also can give you some boards. He'll give you around 6 maybe, depending on his minutes. DeRozan is an underrated rebounder for what he does.
and Kuzma scoring also help. The scoring boost the scoring a bit further
Okay,
with Murray,
not to put
DeRozan.
pressure on you. If you do not win this thing, you messed up really bad. Because I really feel you have a strong. But our collaboration tonight gave us a strong draft, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Huh? And I think
Yeah.
Commissioner Eric likes our draft too.
Yeah, I was looking at my draft yesterday and trying to see how I can reshape it a little bit to follow this. No, but we have similar players. I went with Garland. I went with Keegan. I got Ingram because I didn't have CJ then. But yeah, almost similar.
Yeah. So I think Ingram was a good move later on your part because you were
Told
worried
you.
about the points. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the luxury that DeRozan afforded because DeRozan
Yes.
is gonna be what? Top 5, at least top 10 scorer in the league, right? That easy.
Yes.
Huh?
That one escaped me because after the draft yesterday, I was talking to JJT and we were discussing that the scoring was a problem with my team yesterday, and the Rosen here solved that for Jeremy in this.
That's the trap that Jokic managers who are drafting with Jokic tend to fall into. They somehow become punt points, which is unfortunate because he is a good scorer. He gives you points in the high 20s. maybe not as much this year because he has more help. Fine. And Highland is emerging. Fine. But everything else is going to be good. If anything, his assists will, he has more options. And the secret sauce to Jokic getting better assists is not Jamal Murray and MPJ returning. One of the things as a quote unquote expert that I followed that he loves to pass to the corner. And that's why they pursued Kentavious Caldwell Pope because he is a corner 3-point shooter. They aggressively traded for him, right? They gave up a lot, what looked like a lot. It seemed like, kind of lopsided on paper, but he is the perfect fit for the Nuggets needs. He is a corner shooter and a perimeter defender who is superior to Barton. Okay?
Yeah.
So, you will get a lot. You will see if you watch a lot of Nugget games that there will be a lot of Jokic to KC, kick out to KCP 4-3. So that's a little bonus research that I did. So that's why there is a good chance that we see more assists from Jokic, despite a little drop in points.
Any other team that you like here that should get close to us?
Close? Nah. Okay. This second pick is looking pretty solid also. Huh? He didn't punt blocks, but Embiid, Garland, Jarrett, Franz, Vassell in the round 5 he's the guy with Herb. He can contest you with DFS. Wow. I don't like Bay. Bay to me, okay. A lot of people like Bay. A lot of people are on board that Bay will still have another leap, etc. But I'm turned off by the field goal.
Yeah.
Like I said, only because of the theme that I've been building a lot of small ball with field goal. Here's an example of the build, the Erik Ong quote unquote build. That's why Bay has not been a target. But I think his team is pretty good. And because he's not punting blocks the way we did, Ijax is a good blocker. Between Ijax, Allen, and Embiid, that's solid. He's got good field goal too, with the exception. See, if you notice, Bay and Quickly are his only negative field goal guys. But everything else is decent. He'll probably shuffle out Quickly and he'll realize that, drop Quickly for someone else later, like maybe a Trey Murphy or whoever.
Yeah. So Ricardo,
his team is decent. Who else do I like? Wow, the Kevin Durant team looks interesting also because it's Durant, Siakam. I love Siakam. I only have one draft left, and one of the bigger regrets I have is I don't have any Siakam shares as of now. His team is pretty solid too. I like his team.
Drew, Ingram, Giddy, Hero,
Kongwu, Boyan is early. He kind of faltered towards the end. Boyan was early. Levert is not on my target list. Well, at least he has Bamba, but then he's not a blocks guy. So parang he just had to fill center there. Diba? You could tell.
Well, he tried to get some blocks with Kongwu.
Wala siyang blocks.
Yeah.
He was there because Bamba shoots threes and is a C.
Yeah.
So he's not competitive in blocks. But when you have KD at your core and KD is active and playing, you're always a threat, right?
Yeah.
Because KD is really good. But let's look at the standings once again and admire the juiciness.
Yeah.
Actually, surprisingly, your field goal is lower than my average field goal.
But is it
my teams this year, my Halliburton DeJounte teams, they're like at 48.9 field goal, 49 field goal. I compete with big ball teams. I can kick big ball teams' field goals asses with my small ball. And again, because it's a percentage, I be competing in assists, steals, and both percentages is the play. Because of the injuries to JJJ and Time Lord, by default, I am almost always punt blocks. Because you need those two guys to really compete.
Yeah.
And since they're injured, I don't want to carry the injured guys. I decided, let's just punt it. But I didn't want to give up field goal.
Yeah.
So in a small ball versus small ball matchup, I will kick a small ball's field goal butt, diba? But I will compete. I will odds are be competitive with the assists. Maybe they'll beat me, but I will challenge them always in steals. So field goal and steals is my pathway to success, hopefully this year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last head-to-head league draft that we have. And of course, Eric helping us build the perfect Jokic.
I wouldn't call it
team.
perfect.
The
But it's
almost
nice.
perfect. Almost perfect.
Almost. I'm glad you guys liked it. And I'm glad I was able to share my strategy. Oh, by the way, just for your reference, the build that this is patterned after was a team I drafted in August.
August?
As early as August, I built that build.
Nice. Nice.
So as early as August, I had Keegan and Eason shares.
Oh.
So I had the foresight to so I was ahead of the curve. I was the only difference is back then, one key player that I have in a lot of teams that was not present here is Jalen Smith. I have a crush also on Jalen Smith, even though he's been unimpressive so far in the preseason. I'm not giving up hope. He is.
He should be good. He should be good. I think
He will be a double threat who is also 1-1-1, but has a chance at 50 field goal and good free throws.
Fantasy basketball and the 2020.
There. So there. That's Team Jokic.
yes. So thanks, Eric, for your time and
No,
your
thanks for having me.
expertise.
I have fun.
Lots of great insights as well. On player on certain players that the listeners will be interested in to know about. Of course, Eric is also part of our Invitational League. Also one of those looking for redemption and try to take the title away from Ken.
Yeah.
and-
It's gonna be fun. I think I have a decent core. I have a weird team though in our Invitational League. It is my only punt assist team in all of my teams, so it's a bit shaky, but we'll see.
And I think you need Melton. You need Melton in that.
Yeah, but I need Eason more.
no. I think you should commish should offer
Melton plus
it.
Herter.
Oh, tuna.
Okay.
Then we can talk about my kicker, which will be whatever na.
I'm okay. I'll be okay with that. Let's see who's the kicker.
There's going to be some negotiating going on after this.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
know, John Wall was not drafted in that draft, and I was able
Yeah.
to pick him up when he cleared waivers. So, John Wall.
Did you get him?
Yeah, I got John Wall, which is kind of
Oh.
dumb. I don't need him because I'm punt assists. I don't know why.
Oh,
I
you
picked him
got
up.
him.
I panicked.
I was gonna get him. I was gonna get John Wall, and then I was too late. It's too late.
So John Wall Eason looks good for your team, huh?
for
Let's see.
Melton Werther.
Let's see.
So it's going to be an interesting negotiating after this.
Yeah, but we'll do that offline or whatever.
Offline. All right, guys, that's it for this draft. This is the last one. On 17th, we'll have the Roto draft. So we'll try to record that as well so that we'll have one Roto draft recorded. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.